Welcome to the For the Church podcast, another great gospel-centered resource from Midwestern Baptist Theological Seminary. My name is Jared Wilson. I'm an assistant professor of pastoral ministry and author in residence at Midwestern Seminary. And I'm here as always with my friend and my colleague and my co-host, afraid of the encroaching lamp.
Yeah, it's getting closer by the episode.
Assistant professor of systematic theology, Dr. Ronni Kurtz. How are you, brother?
I'm doing good, man. How are
You
you?
commented on the lamp.
Yeah,
I feel like every time we walk into this studio, we say, was it like this before?
Yeah, I
There's
know.
something like, you asked about the wall.
Yeah, that's
You're
right.
very disoriented today. You
Yeah.
asked about
Where
the
are
lamp.
we?
You asked about the wall.
Who am I?
They usually have a thing where we can hang our clothes. They didn't have that thing, but now
Yeah.
there's a new thing that we
Yeah.
can hang our clothes on.
I
I
love
don't
that
know.
some of our listeners are just listeners, not watchers. So they're like, what are they even talking about?
Well, I guess, we're trying to build that YouTube
dude.
audience. So maybe
Yeah.
you want to
Mysterious references.
pop on over. I even have a nondescript coffee cup
A
today.
non-taped coffee cup for the first time
I
in
know.
FTC history.
It's a non-branded, so they didn't even have to put the tape on there.
That's
or
right.
anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
How you been?
I'm good, man. It's been a minute since we've been back in the studio. How are you?
It hasn't been that long.
It feels like it's been a long time.
Was it just been
Well,
like
it's
2
because
weeks?
I had a terrible mouth surgery in between the last time I've seen
okay.
you.
Yeah.
So
You've had your own personal revenant.
That's right. Yeah,
what's
that's right.
going on?
Wrestled a bear.
Yeah, yeah.
That's right.
Everything okay?
It's I got all my stitches out yesterday, so
Okay.
can finally talk without pain. And
Yeah.
here we are, man.
I've got a root canal scheduled.
Have fun.
For a couple of weeks, and I've been told it's not like it used to be. I've never had one before, but I've been told that it's not like the nightmare that it used to be.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried about it.
Teeth roots are changing these days.
Are you like a dentist? I don't know what you call it.
No.
Dentophobic? Or
I mean, I don't like love going, but
Who
I'm
loves
like,
going?
Yeah, I'm a dentist. You
Yeah,
know?
some people probably do.
Yeah.
Some little kids who get like treats and things. They should have a treasure chest for grown-ups. When you're done, open up that treasure
What would
chest.
you want in it, Jared Wilson? Let's get to know you a little bit this episode.
Widescreen DVDs, Criterion Collection.
I do love that
DVDs.
you're still into physical media.
Yeah,
We should do a whole episode about that one day.
maybe.
Come on. I love it. I'm into books, physical media. I don't do any
yeah.
Kindle reading.
What would you want in your dentist treasure
Books,
chest?
man. Yeah, books.
Books?
Yeah, books and coffee.
But the kind of books that a dentist would have. It's like the magazines where it's
Yeah.
just like, here's the AARP magazine, and they're never any good. Like
You're right,
prevention.
yeah.
It's
Do you
always
think their DVDs
prevention.
are going to be good?
Well, I'm imagining it would be like actual movies, like theatrical
I was
releases.
imagining it would be actual books.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's a good word.
This is good. This is good banter. I'm eager to see this transition.
Well, speaking of movies, it is a film club
Hey!
episode. It's been a while.
There it is.
We have not done a film club in a while. This is actually the second one that we've
Yeah,
done.
second
I'd
one
love
ever.
for it to be a somewhat regular series. And I had a movie all planned that I wanted to do, but we're going to save that. I'm not even going to say what it is because the movie that we're doing, I think, is well timed given the passing of actor Robert Duvall.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're talking about The Apostle, which Robert Duvall wrote and directed and stars in. It's a 1997 film. You'd never seen it.
I'd never
right?
seen it until
Yeah.
last night.
Okay. So I saw it in the theater in 1997 and really enjoyed it. I wouldn't say it's like in my, top 100 or anything like that, but really, enjoyed the movie. Why is that funny?
I thought you were going to say top 10. I wasn't
Well, it's
ready.
certainly
but
not in my top
it's
10.
not in my top 10,000.
Well, it probably isn't my top 10,000. If I had to make that list, I'm sure it would be in there. It might be 101.
I'm just impressed that you have your top 100 like in your head.
No, I don't
And
have
you
it in my
know
head,
this
but I
one.
just don't think The Apostle would make it.
Yeah. This is a great
But
commercial for it.
But it is a really good movie. Or well,
Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get there. Yeah.
I really enjoyed the movie then, and the evangelical marketplace tried to make it a thing.
Really?
Yeah. How old were you in '97?
I was 5 years
You were
old.
5 years
I was
old,
gonna.
okay.
I wasn't gonna tell you that, but yeah, I was 5.
So it's about the same time, and like the contemporary Christian I guess marketplace has tried to do this a few times with things. Probably most successfully with the Passion of the Christ, where
Mhm.
like whole church groups went out and everything. And there's been a few kind of crossover deals where they've tried to make it a thing for the church. And they tried to do this with The Apostle, and it didn't really work, although the soundtrack was kind of a big deal. Stephen Curtis Chapman was actually on the soundtrack. So we had
Really?
a CCM artist on the soundtrack, Lyle Lovett, and then, there's hymns and some gospel things on there. But yeah, so having Stephen Curtis Chapman on there, I think they even sold it in the Lifeway stores. Yeah. R.I.P.
I had no clue.
R.I.P. Lifeway
Yeah,
stores.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, so they try to make it a thing. So I remember going and like paying attention to it through that lens. And I remember thinking, this isn't really a Christian marketplace movie.
It's not.
Even though Duvall cast some, characters who would be, I guess, some of the preachers at the tent revival meetings and things like that are actual preachers.
Oh,
like they're
really?
Not, yeah,
I
they're
didn't know
not
that.
all actors.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there was some interesting casting besides. So
Yeah.
we should probably just cover the plot. If you're not familiar with The Apostle, Robert Duvall stars as Sonny. I can't remember his last name.
E.F. Sonny.
Well, E.F. is the name he starts using.
Yeah.
when
But it's
he-
his actual name, though.
Oh, is it? Okay.
What's it?
Euless.
Euless, yes.
Yes, right. Euless F. Dewey.
Dewey, that's it.
That's right.
Yeah.
So Sonny
But you never
Dewey.
hear that in the movie, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, he stars as Sonny. He's a, I guess, Pentecostal type. They
Yeah,
don't
he
really,
says holiness.
Yeah, holiness preacher. They don't really say what kind of brand he is, but it would be kind of in the Pentecostal, genre, I suppose, or denomination. He's a pastor. He's an itinerant preacher. He does a lot of tent revivals and traveling, that sort of thing. Itinerant preacher as well. And the plot's pretty loose. It's because it's really more of a character study than really anything else. But the basic plot is he discovers that his wife, played by Farrah Fawcett, is cheating on him with the youth pastor. I think it's the youth pastor.
It is. Mm-hmm.
And in a fit of anger, he hits the youth pastor with a baseball bat.
Right in the face.
And the guy goes in a coma. And so Sonny flees. He runs away. And he has an elderly mother that he's leaving behind, some good friends, of course, his church that he was voted out of. He runs away and basically under an assumed name or a different name starts a new church in a different town, in a different state, actually. He leaves Texas for Louisiana and starts a new church. And it's really just about him kind of getting to know the locals, having a impact of some kind.
It's basically a church planning movie.
Ministry of some kind. But it really is a showpiece for Robert Duvall.
Yeah.
Who spent, to my understanding, 13 years trying to get this thing made.
Yes.
He wrote it in
everywhere.
In the mid 80s, put millions of his own dollars into it. It was a moderate success. He made his money back. It wasn't a blockbuster or anything like that. But it had some moderate success, and he was nominated for Best Actor. I didn't see who the other nominees were.
Yeah, I didn't.
He did not win, but he had a Best Acting Oscar nomination, and that's The Apostle.
That was a good summary.
Was that a good summary?
Well done.
Yeah, that was without notes
great.
or anything. Yeah. So I rewatched it for the first time in 30 years or whatever.
Wow, yeah.
Last night as well. I think we were watching it around the same time.
Yeah.
So I want to know your impressions, never having seen it. First watch. Did you know anything about it going in?
Literally nothing.
Okay, I just said, hey, watch The Apostle.
That's right.
Okay.
I took your word for it.
Okay.
And my wife was like, what are you doing? I was like, I guess I'm working. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, this is for Jared.
Yeah.
And,
Hopefully it didn't feel like work.
she was like in the other room, but it's
Yeah.
kind of a loud movie from a volume perspective
Yes,
because of
okay.
the charismatic preaching,
Yes, yeah.
And she was like, what are you watching? I was like, I told you. My first time ever watching it, I'll tell you, probably 45 minutes in, I almost texted you like, we can't do this episode.
Oh, wow.
I was
Really?
about 45 minutes in, I was almost done. Just like,
Like what was happening at that point?
it's when it's the softball scene, not when he hits the guy. Fine with that.
Okay. All right.
But when he's like starting to be abusive to his wife and those kinds of things. I won't even talk about
Yeah,
this.
he's like pushing her out of the
he grabs her
field,
hair and,
Yeah.
and even he made jokes about like strangling her. And
Yeah.
so there were portions I was like, ooh, this is like too abusive oriented, like too heavy. But it is interesting that, kind of my impression, I forced myself to finish it, and I'm thankful I did because I ended up kind of appreciating the movie in a weird way by the end of it.
Okay.
And I want to speak out of both sides of my mouth because on the one hand, the thing that I like is also something I dislike about it. The thing that I like is the complexity of Robert Duvall's character. I think he's astronomically good in it. Like his acting.
Yes. He's a force of nature.
It's incredible acting. His character is legitimately complex because
is not astronomically good.
No, he is not good. No, and there's a lot. I mean, he is disqualified from ministry. I mean, without a doubt.
Well, and they even imply sort of. I mean, they don't sort of imply. I guess they imply. They maybe even more than imply that he himself has been unfaithful to his wife because he mentions
his wandering eye,
and things like that. And
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so he's, definitely not like a model or anything to follow. And yet there were things that he did do, like some of his, like I love the fact that one of the antagonists, Billy Bob Thornton, is like he's like a racist who wants to take down the church. And race isn't even like on the mind of Robert Duvall's character. Like the church is a mixed congregation.
It's mostly black, actually.
Yeah, it's mostly black because of the way he preaches. And they make a joke about that because people heard him on the radio and thought he was black. You know? And, so it's like, I like that. I love Robert's attitude towards, or the apostles' attitude towards money. Like, it's just not a temptation for him to like ruin his ministry because of money. Even at the end, don't want to give too much away, but he's like, if I have to go down, take everything I have and just like sell it for the church, He doesn't even begrudge, like, I mean, his church isn't a mega church. It doesn't appear, but it's pretty, I mean, it's a substantial church. You could imagine they provide for him pretty well, etc. He also travels, and I'm sure he takes love offerings, those sorts of things. But when he has to start over, and he has this, rundown, beat up old church that they kind of rehab. He's in love with it. And the bus that they kind of remodel to pick people up to take him to church. And they start their first service is like 8 people. Yeah. And it's like, half of them are children, half of them are, single old ladies or something like that. And at no point, and in fact, his partner, the African-American preacher, his name Charles. Yeah. Charles Blackwell, I think, who he goes to meet him and almost to get like his endorsement or his approval for him to start a church in that city, because this pastor is retired there, but he was like the last kind of known pastor. He kind of apologizes for the meager, and Duvall's character is just kind of like, no, like, this is awesome from small beginnings, and so there's things like that like you really admire about the character. Things also you hate, like he's obviously an abuser, a womanizer. He's like kind of disgusting in that way. And so the complexity, sometimes you get like faux complexity from writers where like they want the character to be complex and they're trying to force it. But it's like, no, there really is like 2 Roberts in this movie in a way that's like, okay, he really is complex. So I liked that. I also hated it. And what I mean by that is I think in modernity, the like no one can be actually good is overdone. Yeah. In fact, it's one of the things, I think we've talked about this, my favorite book of all time is The Brothers Karamazov by Fyodor Dostoevsky. And there's a scene in that book where the good guy, Alyosha, has the chance to go sour. And I think it's set up very perfect to where the Fyodor Dostoevsky or a modern writer could have claimed like this is him being authentic, but he actually chooses goodness. And it's something I think is missing from some modern art, is like, no, there's actually just a legitimately good character. Yeah. And I'm worried like we're Aragorn. Like, we're like almost too much playing into like they have to be authentic. They have to be, a little bit evil with all of them. Like I just want a good character every once in a while. So the Apostle's not that, he's a complicated character.
I mean, do you sense that there is a kind of redemption arc for him, and that at the end, he knows the police are going to catch up to him. Yeah. He knows they're going to find him. He preaches this kind of final sermon. He makes the police wait, basically. Yeah. And they do. Which is they strange. Do. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. They're kind of waiting outside the church. One guy, comes inside the church, and it's sort of like they're waiting for him to finish. Yeah. And then he kind of surrenders. But, I don't know that that's it's not repentance, because he would have turned himself in if he was, truly repentant. But I think we were supposed to sense a kind of communicating like, okay, I'm resigned to my fate sort of thing. I know this is going to happen. It's going to. But there's still like no
repentance whatsoever about his like womanizing, because he's even trying to do that again.
Well, yeah. So he starts, I don't know what you would call it, courting, dating, being interested in. Is she the secretary for the radio station? For the radio station. Mm-hmm. Her name is Tuzi, played by Miranda Richardson. In that, an excellent performance. And I'll tell you, I was uncomfortable. Perhaps even more so than kind of the baseball scene, not because I don't, even though that was like physically, that just seemed to comport okay with like how I knew him to be. And then as I sense he's growing and changing, or he's supposed to be, he's like really pressuring Tootsie
That's what I'm saying. Like
to kiss him in the car, to invite him into the house, like all these.
Yeah,
things.
he's still a bad
and
person
you're like,
here.
Yeah, it's like okay, first of all, you're not even divorced from your wife. But second, if this is supposed to be some kind of redemption arc,
that's why I don't think it really
seeing
is.
your
at least on that side.
You know who we need here to tell us the truth? You know,
who's that?
Is Tommy Kidd.
Tommy Kidd.
Yeah, Dr. Kidd. This is his favorite movie.
I know. Yes.
And I know he's written on it, you know, before, but he probably could be. He's probably listening to this episode right now going, you guys are botching.
Oh, yeah. Like you're missing
thing.
all the insight. Yeah. Yeah. I hopped on social media to see if like anyone, I did like a little search, you know, on the movie to see if anyone, and he's like a couple of the top posts about the movie.
Wow. Okay. Well, I mean, after Duvall's passing, if Christians were reflecting on that at all, this movie comes up because it's the most, you know, outside of his, you know, his most significant roles obviously are in The Godfather, in Apocalypse Now, Tender Mercies, things like that. He had some great, for kind of the leading man kind of cowboy charisma that he had. He had some great kind of supporting roles here and there. I think he's great as the in The Natural as the journalist who's you know trying to kind of uncover the real truth behind Roy Hobbs and all that sort of thing. Have you ever seen The Natural?
No.
Man, you're a baseball guy. I can't believe you've never seen The Natural.
Yeah.
Oh man, you guys see The Natural. Robert Redford.
You got it.
Anyway, so Duvall's in there. He's the absolute best thing in even terrible movies like Four Christmases. You ever seen Four Christmases? So he plays Vince Vaughn's dad in that movie, and he's just hysterical.
Yeah.
The movie is terrible. Not recommending it. But maybe you can find his scenes on YouTube. But as people were kind of like reminiscing, reflecting on his great film career, you know, Christians were bringing up the apostle because of this so-called Christian content. You know, is it a Christian movie? You know, that's the point of the film club, is to kind of analyze the faith content.
Yeah, yeah.
He really believes it, don't you think?
Oh, yes.
I mean, despite the fact that he is a sinner, he actually believes this stuff. He's not like a huckster. I mean, you've already mentioned he's kind of not in it for the money, or at least it doesn't appear that he is. So he's not, you know, someone who's trying to put off a hoax. Although there's the moment where he's advertising those. Scarves or handkerchiefs or something.
$7.99.
I've prayed over these personally.
That's right. You know? You're like, oh, all right, that's a little
like
televangelist.
I don't know. If that's.
I mean, obviously, his preaching is not what we would advocate for or anything like that as well. There is a moment in his preaching at that last scene,
the final scene.
Yes, he finally gets at least close to the gospel.
He does. He holds up. There's a baby in the congregation. He holds up the baby and he begins talking about a nail. He goes, you know, I don't have that much love in me to put a nail through a child's hands, and, you know, but the Lord does, but God does. And Walton Goggins is in this film, and one of his first film roles, not his first, but one of his first, very young. You know, Becky was rewatching it with me last night, and she goes, he hasn't even grown into his teeth yet, you know? And we didn't even know who Walton Goggins was in 97 because he wasn't anybody in 97, and of course now he is, but he is a convert. It appears he has a very tearful sort of conversion scene in response to this sermon. And I wonder if the takeaway is meant to be, okay, this is his last sermon before he goes to jail, Sonny. And, you know, he's built this church up, but this is like the first convert. Unless, I don't know if Billy Bob Thornton's character is considered a convert.
I think that's right.
Yeah. I did remember that scene very vividly. There was something about, and it was interesting to read later that this scene where Billy Bob Thornton's character comes, we don't understand why he's so angry. I mean, he's a racist, but like why he's so angry about the church. Yeah. We can pick up a little bit that's sort of between the lines that he's maybe angry about religion or churches or Christians or something. But he shows up with a bulldozer to knock the church down.
Literally knock it down.
To knock the building down. And Robert Duvall, like ministers to him in that moment, confronts him, but ministers to him. And this is maybe 3 or 4 days after beating him in a fist fight. They get in a fight outside the church. And Robert Duvall, it's a great scene. Robert Duvall beats him up, or at least wins the fight. And then 3 days later, you know, Billy Bob shows back up to knock the church down. And that's kind of a moving scene.
Yes, it is.
It's the scene that I remembered the most from the 97 theatrical viewing. And to hear that they improvised the dialogue. Really? Yeah. So that whole thing, I mean, I guess they sketched the scene out. This is what's going to happen. Yeah. But that interplay, and And Billy Bob did it apparently because Duvall appeared in Sling Blade,
Yes.
his movie,
Yeah.
at for free or at day scale or something like that. So they're kind of exchanging favors there, and it's a powerful scene.
Yeah.
To see this guy who's like super angry. He gets out of the bulldozer because Duvall's character has put a Bible in front of it. And though he wants to knock the church down, he won't run over the Bible. And so he gets out to move the Bible, and Duvall kind of stops him and just starts
praying
for him and praying over him. And it's a very moving scene.
Yeah.
I thought.
Yeah. It does show you the difference of because the bad guy in today's movies has no problem with that superstition of just running over the Bible.
Yeah. Well, and you can imagine, we don't get any backstory for him, like I said, but you can, your brain is filling in these details. Okay, he's a white boy from Louisiana. He may be, an angry cuss, racist, etc., but he's got respect for the Bible.
Yeah.
And maybe what he's mad about is the church is mixed, races, or who knows why, or he thinks this guy's taking advantage of people or something. But you also sense there's a father wound or something in there that Duvall is helping to heal, I guess. Yeah. So is the big takeaway of the apostle sort of like the Lord draws straight lines with crooked sticks? Do you think that's the whole point?
That's probably what you should take away.
Yeah.
I think there's splinter takeaways that, are a little more niche, but I do think that's probably the wisest takeaway.
That the guy
I don't know that the movie is asking us to do what's
the moral?
That's right. I think I think the complicatedness of the main character is what you're supposed to kind of leave with. Man. And that's what you're kind of getting at, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it is a character study more than it is, even that sort of setup plot is really just a setup plot to watch him walk around and interact with people. It really just is scenes of him preaching, scenes of him interacting with people, having an effect, largely magnetic, having a magnetic effect on the town or the people of the town, on the people that he works with. He seems to very easily make friends. And Robert Duvall is just, he's an incredible, tornado of a character.
Yes.
And in the movie, he's a tornado of a character. We should probably mention that there's a few interesting, supporting roles. So June Carter Cash plays his mother. Johnny Cash's widow plays his mother.
I didn't even put that together. Wow.
And there's a hilarious scene where she pretends to have had a heart attack or something. And he covers her up with he knows she's faking. So he covers her up with a blanket as he leaves. And he's like, hug St. Peter's neck for me, mama, as he walks out. It's so funny. And then she does actually die later. But, and then, so we mentioned Walton Goggins, Billy Bob Thornton, Miranda Richardson, Farrah Fawcett, and Billy Joe Shaver. Tommy Kid would be so upset with me if I didn't mention the country artist and character, real life outlaw. Billy Joe Shaver plays a man from Sonny's former life who's like his friend and kind of looks in on his mom for him. And I think the backstory there is that he led that guy to the Lord. I forget what his name is in the movie.
I can't either.
Yeah.
He says, who knows what jail I would end up in if you didn't convert me.
Yeah, if you didn't, show me the way. That's that kind of thing. So
this episode's basically for Tommy. So I'm glad you mentioned him.
Right now, he's going to be so upset about all the stuff we're leaving out, probably. So takeaway was, you enjoyed it by the end or just appreciated it?
3 out of 5.
3 out of 5.
Yeah,
okay,
appreciate
I give it 4 out of 5.
Okay.
Probably.
Yeah,
not in the top 100.
That's right. Not even,
but definitely in the top 10,000.
I'd love to see Jared's top 10,000 list.
Yeah, and we should mention we probably have a lot of listeners, viewers who are content conscious.
Yes.
You can obviously look up the content of the film. I know we've mentioned some violence and
abuse
and wayward eyes and that sort of thing, but it's PG-13. There's no what we might call adult content, but it certainly is mature content, and there is some language in it, not a whole lot, but it's PG-13. Look up your favorite content guide to find details on there. I thought this was a pretty good entry in the film club.
Yeah, absolutely. That's good for number 2.
That's good for number 2.
And they say
the apostle.
The best, so.
Third time's a charm. Until next time, dear listener, please give us a good review wherever you listen to or watch your favorite podcasts. May Jesus be big in your church.